Welcome to another edition of Danny's Hot Takes. Today, we'll be reviewing Psychic Awakening Part 1, Phoenix Rising.
Yeah! Cool! Are you ready? Awesome!
Well, welcome to another edition of Danny's Hot Takes. Today we'll be reviewing Psychic Awakening Part 1 with Phoenix Rising.
I don't even play Craftworld Aeldari right now, and I'm excited for it. If for nothing else than the lore in the books. I really like the idea of Drano charging out to take on Jane Czar and try to kill her and stuff.
Did you just call him Drano?
Isn't that his name? Drainzar?
Yeah, Drazar. Yeah.
Drazar.
No, you're fair enough. Close. You were close, and I appreciate your effort, Dave.
I tried.
That's okay. You think you're excited. Feel these nipples.
Pass this time around, big dog.
Yeah, fool you once, right?
Yeah.
All right, so just to introduce myself, I'm Danny from the Mob Rolls podcast, here with one of my co-hosts, Dave.
Yep, as always.
Yep.
Happy to be here and do this, because I love it.
Yep, we're very excited about this book in general. I am a longtime Eldar player, like probably my favorite faction. If there was going to be a faction I said I would never sell my models for that, it would be my Craftworld Eldar for sure. I'm an Oathway fanboy through and through.
Which is interesting, because I made an Oathway army, and I sold it immediately.
So people are just more committed than others, Dave.
Well, mine was for fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it went to a really good home for a new player that's starting out in the
good.
ITC, so he got a great deal on it.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I was stoked to give it to him.
So as per the usual, I'm not going to go over the fluff in this review. I'm just going to go over the rules because there's enough fluff. We'd be here for hours.
Yeah, it's not a big section in this book, but it's really in depth.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely read it. Give it a read. We won't do any spoilers for that.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But yeah, totally worth it. So the very first section here that we have here is the Children of the Stars section, which details the new rules for Craftworld Eldar. So we've got some updated data sheets, updated aspect power shrines. This is probably the part I'm most excited about. Like, it's the coolest to me. And then we've got Runes of Fortune, which details the new psychic lore available to Eldar. And then finally, customizable Craftworld attributes for DIY Eldar Craftworld.
Just like they did with Space Marines.
Pretty much,
so
yeah.
I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean...
Oh, for sure.
The ability to... Finally giving players the ability to forge their own narrative with their Craftworlds is amazing.
And, like, the choices are decent. Like, they might be a contender for making a new your own craft world rather than one of the ones out of the book. But that's up to you. You're going to lose out on a couple of things, but we'll talk about that when we go over that.
One thing you're not going to lose out on is that sexy name generator that they
Hell
put in
yeah.
the beginning of the book this time, so you had to read it.
So great. Plus, they have translations of the names and what they mean in a real language. So
it's all just Eldrad, right?
Is called. Right. Yeah. It's just Eldrad, Ulthran.
Yeah.
The whole time.
No, got it.
All right. So we have here first point values. Now, if you've already looked at the point values and said, all right, Danny, well, what the heck? Like, these points are exactly the same as the Craftworld Eldar book. And I would say you're darn tootin'. They're exactly the same. So that's one thing you want to look at one thing you would notice is that you're not going to get any changes to the actual points values. And this is going to continue on in the Dark Eldar section as well. However, the data sheets are updated with new options and abilities.
Yep.
So Incubi got a solid buff overall, and then Banshees got some new war gear options with the Triskele, and you also still have the Executioner and Mirror Swords as options as well.
Yeah.
So we're just going to skip past that Assyriani name generator and go right into Jane Czar's rules. Jane Czar is pretty much the same, just with a couple of changes that they talked about in the White Dwarf community article.
Yeah, they've talked about most of the changes. Most notable is the change to her attacks. She lost one of her abilities and gained the ability to have an attack for every model within 2 inches.
Right, after she consolidates, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
So the big change to her, so what she lost in that respect was the disarm ability that she had before, which is now a selectable power for Banshee Exarchs. So just something to consider when you are using her. She gets a lot more attacks, so she's probably pretty good at blending like a lot of light infantry, and she can take a hit. So if they consolidate into her to get a bunch of attacks, she's got a 2-up armor save, which is pretty tough, and she's -1 to hit in combat with her War Shout ability. So I think she's pretty tough. You know, people may not agree with me, but that's fine.
I mean, I think she got better. I mean, I like the ability, the idea that you can charge her in and just let her mow everybody down, because she's going to go first because of crazy Banshee powers.
The cry of war unending.
Yeah. So she gets to go first unless they charge.
Right.
But, you know, we're talking about her charging in, so she's automatically going first.
Yep.
And she gets to consolidate in. If you're charging into a unit of 20 troops, you can consolidate in. You can get probably, you know, I'm thinking 8, 9, 10 attacks, and that's going to be 10 dead dudes.
Yeah, it'll be because she hits on a 2, and then she's like strength 6, rerolling failed wound rolls, which is pretty good.
Yeah. So
and -3 AP, D3 damage is pretty solid. And her shooting attack is not terrible either.
I mean, I feel like she could probably do pretty good against Primaris intercessors. You know.
Oh, sure.
Just all sorts of good stuff.
And even with 4 attacks, you know, like she's still going to do a lot of damage. She's probably going to hit with them all and then wound with them all too. So,
right.
Which is pretty good. All right. So move on to Banshees. So again, this War Scroll, data sheet, well, not War Scroll, different game, sorry. This data sheet is exactly the same as it was in the Codex Eldar version, except for the ability to buy the Triskele, which is shooting and melee attack, which replaces your power sword. Basically, it gives you an Assault 3, Strength 4, -2 AP, 1 damage shooting weapon. So, I mean, it's all right. And remember, since if you do take them as a Craftworld unit, they do get battle focus, so they can advance and shoot without penalty, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they still get to assault because they're Banshees, and they get to assault after advancing. And so, just like Jane's are, they get a huge charge range if they do advance. They're still movement 8. You can pay 1 CP to make them auto advance 6. So they can move 14 inches and still assault at +3 inches, or I should say, there's several options now that'll give you bonuses to your assault distance. Like if you cast one of the new psychic powers that they previewed on them, they can get +2 inches. There's a new Craftworld trait for another +1 inch to your charge, or you can take them as Saim Han, so they can get another +2 inches to charge with a stratagem. So there's a lot of cool ways that you can get them into combat. I really see you charging in turn 1 a lot of times with these guys, and you want to get in there if you can help it, because they are fairly fragile with a 4-up armor save and toughness 3, so they will die.
If they're getting shot, then yeah, they're gonna die. But once you get them into combat, there's a couple different ways you can keep. You know, they can just stay alive. So,
For sure.
And you can wrap up units and tie them up in combat. You know,
and
that Iron Hands Leviathan everybody's afraid of.
Sure.
Get in on that bad boy and just tri-point him, and then just stay there.
Yep.
And then all you have to do is worry about 3 flyers.
There you go. That's not that bad, right? All right, so moving on to the powers of the Aspect Shrine. So there's a lot of rules here, right? Every Aspect Shrine has 6 different Exarch powers that they can choose from. Now, you can either take any Aspect Warrior unit can swap their standard Exarch power for, and it tell you exactly what that ability is, for one of the other ones on the list. And there's some really great options here. I'm probably not. I don't think we're going to detail all 40 options or whatever that are available. I think there's 42,
something like that.
But we'll do some high points. So instead of doing that, you can also pay 1 CP and keep the power that you start with, and just gain one of these extra powers.
Yeah.
And you can use that once per battle before the game starts.
So each one has different abilities, and none of them are auras. So
Correct.
they're all either this whole unit or just the Exarch.
Correct.
And it comes into play in a couple different ways, because you can really buff up some of the Exarchs. You can really buff up nicely with 2 of them. Now, mind you can only use that stratagem once per aspect per game.
Right.
So,
right. Because each stratagem is specific to one aspect.
So if you had one of each of the great aspects there, you can use each stratagem.
Oh, sure, you
once
can
for each
spend,
one.
Yeah.
But if you have 5 squads of Dire Avengers, only one can have 2.
Right, exactly.
But any can swap. So you can have one that has 6s, whatever it is there. I can't read it from here, unfortunately. So
there's a ton of good ones. So we'll kind of touch on some of those. So Fire Dragons, some of the ones I really liked. I really liked the Dragon's Bite, which lets you turn their fusion guns into pistols if you'd like, which is really solid.
I really like that because if they charge into, if you get charged, your Fire Dragons get charged, and you have that ability as a secondary along with your main, you can then in close combat, if you survive close combat, you just light them up.
Absolutely.
It's like
or they just want
melt
to
up pistols all of a sudden,
or they just want to touch you so you can't shoot, and you don't want to spend the CP to have them fall back and still shoot. You can just pop that and say, okay, well here's 5 melting guns in close combat, which is pretty nice.
Oh, and also now I'm charging it.
Yeah. Yep. And then you've got let's see, what's one of the other ones? I really liked Swift Step. That allows you when the Exarch is in the unit, you advance, you roll 3d6 and discard 2 of the results. So you get a pretty good chance of rolling that 6 to get them that full 6 inches of movement. And then the other one that I really like is the Wall of Fire. And this is if you have a Dragon's Breath Flamer. Instead of doing normal Overwatch damage, on a 2+, you just do D3 mortal wounds to whatever charges you, which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So Dire Avengers, you lose Crack Shot on your Exarch for that. Dire Avengers lose Battle Fortune, so that's the 4+ invulnerable save on your Exarch. So for that one, I'd almost always swap because it's the Exarch, but living on his own is usually not a super big deal to me. But I do like some of these things, like Defend is -1 to wound for them. I like...
it's like an Iron Stone for a squad of Dyers.
Heck yeah, -1
or
to wound.
all the squads of Dyers, technically, because you can do it for all of them.
Yeah, and it's against melee attacks only, which is fine. If that's what you want to use them for, then that's... Like if you're going to take a horde of them. There's also Shredding Fire, which makes the Dire Avengers Exarch, gives him -3 AP on all of his shuriken weapons, so he can fire 4 shots at -3 AP all the time, so he's always getting rinning shots on those.
Really
or
nice.
Blade Storm, I guess. My favorite one is Avenging Strikes. And what that happens is if you ever lose a Dire Avenger from your squad, as long as you have the Exarch still, the whole squad gets +1 to hit, +1 to wound, which is solid because Blade Storm isn't on natural 6s, it's on a 6+ to wound. So that means you're rending on 5s or Blade Storming on 5s and 6s, which is primo.
Yeah, very nice.
Dark Reapers have a couple of good ones. I like Rapid Shot, lets you shoot an extra time with the weapon that he has.
For the Exarch?
Yeah, just for the Exarch, sorry. Then you've got Rain of Death. If he has a Tempest Launcher, he can re-roll any of the dice to determine the number of attacks. And then you also have one that affects the whole squad in Long Range Fire, which gives +6 inches to the range of all your shots.
Dude, getting an extra 6 inches is always good.
Yeah, nobody...
You always want to give him an extra 6.
Nobody complains about an extra 6 inches.
Nobody.
Howling Banshees, I think, have some really nice ones. I'm especially enamored of Graceful Avoidance, and that gives the squad a 5+ Ignore Wounds, so they get a 5+ Feel No Pain. They basically get Disgustingly Resilient, which is great. So that just helps keep them in the fight as much as possible. So if you spend Exemplar of the Banshee Shrine and get War Shout, so they're -1 to hit in melee, and get that, they're going to be way hard to shift, I think.
Yeah. Get into close combat and just tie up and just sit there.
For sure.
They become because they're not that expensive, if memory serves me correct.
They're 13 points a model, yeah, so they're not super pricey.
So about, TAC prices? That's almost TAC prices, right?
They're 1 point more than a Tactical Marine.
They would be, in my opinion, way better than a Tactical Marine, regardless of chapter tactics you're taking with them in that regard then.
Disarming Strike got changed, so it's no longer that you're knocking a weapon out of their hand or they're not able to use it that close combat phase. It's now that you pick a model and they get -2 to the attack characteristics of them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like a lot of the stuff in here. And I wish you could take more than one. I really do, because I think that would just be amazing.
Sure, and the nice thing is it seems like you're probably able to customize these.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have a little bit of dog interference.
We
here.
got Fred. We're getting Freddie. It's
Yep.
all good.
He's just really interested.
He loves Howling Banshees.
Yeah, he's really hyped about Howling Banshees.
He was laying down. He was like, Dark Reapers, they're terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody likes Dark Reapers, man.
Yeah.
All right, so...
They're the Black Templars of Elder aspect.
People just don't like playing against them. They're cool. They're a cool aspect. Swooping Hawks is the next one on the list. Swooping Hawks get rid of Herald of Victory, which again is not the best ability. However, some of these ones are really great. You've got Suppressing Fire, which makes Overwatch -2 inches to charge. Awesome. Evade is a 5-up invul save, also really good for that unit. You can get, and then you've got Swooping Barrage, which gives you +1 to their Swooping Hawk Grenade ability, which is pretty cool. That can do a bunch of hits, for sure.
Always hated that ability. Yeah, no, I really like a lot of stuff there. They made some really good changes, and I can't wait. I honestly can't wait to see what people are gonna, do with it when it boils down to it. Because there is just like we said it. I don't know if we said it at the beginning, but this book doesn't take Craftworld Eldar to Iron Hands, but it does greatly increase the toolkit that they have to be able to deal with stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
So, I really like what they've done with a lot of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This book is really well written. They did a really great job of making sure that it's not overpowered.
Yeah.
Striking Scorpions replace the, what is that, the sustained attack ability. So that's a 6 as you get extra attacks on the Exarch. They have, so first of all, Striking Scorpions are my favorite aspect in the whole game. I think they're really cool, and I'm really glad to see them get some really neat abilities. So they've got Stalker, which gives them, if they're in cover, they're -1 to hit, which is super cool.
Yep.
Especially if they're also a Laytalk. So then if they're over 12 inches, they're just -2 to hit all the time. That's great. For a unit that's going to sit on objectives a lot of time, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Then you've got, I also like Withdraw, which is at the end of the fight phase. They just get to fall back for free 6 inches if they want to. So that's very powerful, obviously. Like,
we're out.
Yeah, I don't really want to fight you anymore, but, I'm just going to fall back right now, so next turn I can move up, shoot you, and then also charge you again. That seems fair, right?
Yeah, thanks for charging me, you fool.
And then everybody's favorite, Shiny Spears. Hey, guess what? They get the same ability, Withdraw. So that is an insanely powerful ability for them. Just to be able to nope out of combat and then come back in and charge.
Yeah. Hooray!
They also have a couple of other good ones. Swooping Dive is really good. That gives them +1 to their charge distance, which is really great.
Yep.
Then they also have... the other ones just affect the Shining Spear's Exarch to make him more badass. You can make the Paragon blade damage 3, or make the Lance every 6 you roll to hit gets an extra hit. So that's pretty good. Crimson Hunter Exarchs.
I think we can skip this. Nobody's even talking about Crimson Hunters anymore, right? It's not a thing that people want to see.
Right. So you can give up the Marksman's Eye, which is I believe that's the reroll 1s to hit. Instead, you can get Aerial Predator, which gives you +1 damage against targets that can fly. So Dave, how do you feel about that with repulsors?
I think repulsors are on the ground; they don't fly. I've been told I can't get on top of buildings, so clearly I don't have fly anymore, Danny.
Oh, can you get out of combat and still shoot though?
I mean, well, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not a fan of the Crimson Hunter Exarch versus my. Well, how do you feel about the Crimson Hunter Exarch versus, like, I don't know, Storm Talons or Stormhawks?
Yeah, they're only 150 points. I don't really care if they're
Yeah.
Besides, they're going to be hitting me on, like, 5s, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, so Aerial Predator, +1 damage on if you target something that can fly. Evade is pretty good. That's a 5-up invul save. Makes them a little tougher.
Yep. Hawkeye gives them
Hawkeye is the one that I saw that really struck my fancy. No penalty for moving and shooting heavy weapons, and since all of its weapons are heavy already, that means it's hitting on 2s. So if you back it up with like an Autarch on a jet bike, like you fly in a little formation, then you can be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s with all of your attacks. That seems very good.
Yeah, it turns them in, basically turns them into Crimson Iron Hunter Exarchs or something like that, right?
Yeah, right. The other one I thought was fun was aerial maneuvering, which means that you can pivot it 180 degrees before its move. So you can just have it fly backwards.
Just shoot across just go in a straight line each turn, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth the whole distance. Just never, just doing a 180, getting to where you are, turn around, come all the way back.
Right.
Next turn. That's dumb.
I mean, they can still kind of do that, but it's it's really powerful.
Just crisscrossing the board. You just got 2 of them getting, or 4 of them, 3 of them getting recon every turn for you. Just landing in the same spot.
Well, good thing you can't take 4.
Yeah.
Then you've got Warp Spiders. The Warp Spiders haven't gotten a lot of love this edition, but they've got some really great abilities.
That's because they were monsters and annoying.
Oh yeah, they were real bad in 7th, so...
I'm going to jump, shoot, jump, yay!
Let's see here. You've got Withdraw, again, that's really great. You've got Surprise Assault, which means anytime you deep strike them, you can reroll all the hit rolls for your Death Spinner attacks, which is great.
Yeah, that seems pretty strong.
Pretty nice. Let's see here. You can do Web of Deceit, which means you get to deep strike once per game instead of moving normally. Really good.
So instead of just moving across the field, you just immediately go bloop bloop.
I'm 9 inches away from you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank God you can't take 2 of these at once.
Yeah, right. And then you've also got... I like the Spider's Bite, too. I know that's kind of weird, but it gives the Power Blades that the Exarch has.
No kink shaming here, Danny.
+1 strength and damage 2, which is kind of nice for a little surprise assault action that you have going on there. All right, so next we're going to talk about Runes of Fortune. And Runes of Fortune is the new Psychic lore.
I absolutely love Runes of Fortune because it shows you that GW is thinking about the fact that they put this one psychic power in the game that everybody knew, and that some people should just not have to do. They should know something else. Like Eldar are master psychers, in my opinion. So having Runes of Fortune replace Smite
I think that's
awesome.
really interesting.
Yeah, and it's not, you don't have to, but I kind of like some of the stuff in here for, as it really allows you to tailor your Psyker to being able to do certain things along the same lines as the Phobos Lieutenant or Phobos Librarian did for Space Marines.
Sure.
Gives them these specific powers for certain things, and I really like it.
It's really cool. Yeah, I'm excited about these. I like Fateful Divergence, so that's Warp Charge, 4?
4.
Yeah. So you cast that on a unit, they get to reroll a hit roll, a wound roll, or a save roll once in the next battle round.
You just give them a free reroll. You turn them into Salamanders.
Well, yeah, it's just... Well, it's not every time they fight. Like, it's just a reroll that you can use on that unit, which is great. Yeah, it's really powerful.
It's super great.
Let's see. Witch Strike gives you... Yeah, that's kind of a meh, because just the Eldar Psychers don't have a ton of attacks.
There's probably some crazy guy out there who just runs squads of Eldar Psychers at people and gets them into melee.
Yeah, I can see it maybe on like a...
He's going to love that.
A Warlock Conclave on jet bikes. That might be kind of cool. I think it only affects one of them, though, and not the whole squad.
That's kind of one of those things where it's not properly explained a little bit, but
I'd have to look at it and see if they just count as the one. You pick one guy to manifest the power, and he's the guy.
So
Ghostwalk is amazing.
I think Ghostwalk is the best one.
Oh yeah, for sure, no question.
Holy cow!
So Warp Charge 6.
So a 6, super low for this power in my opinion.
Oh yeah, really good. And so that gives you a +2 to your charge distances.
+2 to a charge till the next psychic phase.
Right.
Holy smokes. So when you really want to get those Banshees over there just smoking Leviathan pole as fast as possible. So good. So good.
It's really good. And then you've got Crushing Orb, which is a character targeting power. And this lets you target a character within 18 inches, and you roll a 3d6, and then for each 5 up, they take a mortal wound. Not bad.
You know what? I like it.
And it's only a 4.
It's only a 4, and it's, if you want to snipe some of those important support characters,
sure.
You've got a guy on a bike or something that's getting close anyway.
Yeah, for sure, that's all.
It's a good replacement for it, because Smite is closest unit, whereas this is pick a character.
Right.
So, you can mind snipe people. He's killing people from 18 inches away with mind bullets, Danny.
That's right. freaking mind bullets, man.
I think those are telekinesis, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks. And then you've got Focus Will, which allows you to target Craftworld's character, a psychic character, and they get +2 to their deny rolls. So you can combo this up with Will of Assyrian, so that they can potentially, one psychic can get a +3 to deny. I think that's pretty solid. You can do that on, like, I don't know, Eldrad or a Farseer, so you get 2 denies at +3.
Yeah.
Which is real good. Real good.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And then, of course, Impair Senses, which is, you know...
I think that is the second best power in here, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure.
I mean...
It limits what your opponent can shoot at. So, like, if you really want to make one of your units very tough by buffing them up with all the psychic powers, like, you protect a unit of Shining Spears, you put Fortune on them, so they have a 3+ invul, they've got -1, they got -1 or 2 to hit. Like, you say, okay, well, you can only shoot at this, none of my other units. Or potentially protect a Psyker from snipers.
So, with a charge value of 6, one enemy unit within 18 inches, invisible to the Psyker until the start of the next phase. When that unit is chosen to shoot with models in that unit, can only target the closest visible enemy unit. So, I mean, it's, you know... you got to be within 18 inches of the model anyway, so it's like you're pretty close to start with. So if they wanted to snipe you already, there's a good chance they're probably still going to be able to snipe you. You know, unless you get something a lot close into them.
I just don't disagree. I just disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
Or potentially, you can have a unit in assault that's wrapped the target, and then they can't shoot anybody at all.
I mean, unless they're also fire dragons who have taken the melt-a-pistol
option.
Yeah,
sure. You're right. They can shoot you.
Which, by the way, I will be doing from now on just to screw with you if you ever play Eldar Action.
So that kind of rounds out that lore. Let me talk about the lore for a minute in general. It's really great for warlocks, I feel like, because you're losing out on their smite, which is not very good. Because it's only one mortal wound.
For sure, 100%.
And so it's really solid on them. It's a great addition to a Spirit Seer. So you can give him, like, I like him coming in with, like, Wraith Blades that are deep striking. And then popping Ghost Walk on them so they get a +2 inch to their charge. Real solid.
Yeah, that's really good.
So
I agree. These are for not... Eldrad isn't replacing his smite with one of these, although maybe.
He might. I mean, you may just do it anyway, just because it's a nice little buff.
Yeah. But
all right.
So Craftworld attributes, and this is the meat and potatoes of this book, in my opinion.
There's some cool stuff.
There's some really good stuff. For those of you that are hearing Freddie, we apologize. He got really bored with everything. He'll probably perk back up
He's
when we
like,
mention Howling Banshees.
Oh man, Eldar. God, I'm so tired of those guys. Can't you guys talk about Space Marine some more? Maybe soon.
For the 4 of you that are actually here to listen to Fred snore, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Go ahead and lay down. You put your head on your pillow. This is the part. I'll timestamp it for you. Just come back later.
All right. So there's 22 different abilities, and you can nominally pick 2 of these, except for one of the abilities that you're forced into just taking that one, and we'll get to that one. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So first one is Children of Cain. That is whenever you make an Aspect Warrior attack, if you roll a 6 to wound, it does +1 damage. Nice on like Banshees or something like that. That's low strength. Scorpions. That
very
very
good.
Too. Children of Commorragh. She's the goddess of death. When resolving an attack made by a model with this attribute that has at least half of its starting number of models dead, add 1 to the to hit roll.
Also,
so if you
again,
lose
still
half
good.
your unit, yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, these are situational, very situational though.
For sure.
So,
Children of Prophecy, count all your psychic test results of 1 as 2 instead. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that means you can't. Oh God, what is it?
Perils?
Perils on double 1s.
I mean, that's what
I'd have to look at it again, but I'm pretty sure it says your dice rolls
that's...
are 1s as 2s. So
right, so your 1s become 2s, which means that anything that's a 4 power is going to auto cast no matter what, and you can't perils,
right?
Unless you have somebody else around you that causes you to perils
on doubles or something. Right. Yeah, you're right. There is that stuff.
But it also, You know.
Yeah, it's a cool power, especially if you've got a lot of Psychers in your list. I
Yeah,
think
if you
it's
run
decent.
a Psyker heavy list, which is going to be prevalent against things like Iron Hands, because mortal wounds be mortal wounds, yo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're good. You've got Children of the Open Skies. This one is pretty bad. When a unit with this
tell us how you really feel about
when
it,
a unit with this attribute that can fly advances at an extra 2 inches to the move characteristic.
I mean, all right, that's bad. You're right.
It's very limited in scope, and it's only gonna. I don't know. I think that's just a very niche and not very well thought out one. I think if you're gonna do a plus 2 inches, like you just give him plus 2 inches of movement if the unit has fly. I think that's fair. That's not more like they did that with Cabalites. I don't know. Anyway, then you got Diviners of Fate. Models with this attribute have a 6-up invul save. I feel like they're going to give this to Ulthway because that's kind of what their current thing is like. But maybe they'll. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like so Ulthway has the 6-up Feel No Pain.
Right.
So, you know, if they're getting ready to redo the book again when this arc is over after the Psychic Awakening, and add in updated Craftworld attributes for this, I feel like they're going to follow along the lines of Space Marines. What they did is they, you know, because originally Space Marines had 1 ability, you know, on their chapter tactics, and now 2, and I mean good ones have 3. So it's I feel like they're going to do something like that as well.
Yeah.
With Craftworld and give them 2-up.
I agree.
Two abilities, and I'm with you. I can see this going both way very easily.
Yeah, some of these, I think, just like the Space Marines, you can kind of see where they were headed with some of these changes. Anyway.
I like that one personally, but that's just because I like the ability to always have that save no matter what. You know.
Yeah. I don't know about it. I'd have to think about it more. I think there are definitely situations where it's pretty good, especially if your unit has pretty bad armor save, like Banshees or like Rangers. If your opponent ignores cover.
Nobody takes Rangers. They're terrible now.
Sure. Yeah. That's not true. And then I don't know. Anyway, so it's okay. Then you've got Expert Crafters, which is basically the Salamander's attribute, or the old Salamander's attribute, which is reroll its a hit roll and its wound roll. So
yeah, when you're firing Overwatch.
Or shoots. Or fights.
Or shoots or fights. It's weird that I've noticed that they put Overwatch ahead of start, ahead of things. Like they're clarifying that particular thing.
Well, and I don't know if you remember, but in a recent FAQ that they did, unless a stratagem specifies Overwatch, it doesn't work in Overwatch. So I think they want to make sure that it's clarified everywhere that stuff does work in Overwatch, or it doesn't work in Overwatch.
Right, and I like that. I like putting a little bit of clarification.
Yep,
like
I think that's great. Let's see here. So plus, otherwise, like this lets them reroll every time they Overwatch. So if they Overwatch multiple times in a phase, instead of saying that they can just do it once per phase in the fight or shoot phase.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a nice little bonus there. So you've got Grim, you can reroll morale tests. It's alright.
It's okay, yeah.
Hail of Doom, whenever you make a shuriken attack within 12 inches, improve the AP by 1. Which is not bad. I think that's
pretty good, actually.
And it doesn't affect Bladestorm, so Bladestorm is still a 6, is -3. It's not -4.
I mean, that's okay then.
Yeah. Headstrong is great. This one is whenever they make a charge roll, get +1 to the distance for charging. I think that's a really powerful ability.
Yeah.
For Eldar.
I mean, it's better than 2 inches when you advance with fly.
Mm-hmm. Hunters, by a lot. Then you've got Hunters of Ancient Relics. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models with this attribute when they're within 3 inches of any objective markers.
I'm so glad you can't just give this to specific units.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, here's my Striking Scorpions. Come on.
Or
shiny
attacks. Or Shiny Spears or whatever.
Yeah, that's just...
Oh, wait. But you can give it to your whole army, Dave.
I'm just saying, it's one of those things you have to give to your whole army. It's
not
just,
right.
You can't just be
it's going to take a slot instead of it being a stratagem or something.
I mean, technically, you could do just a detachment with this.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I forget I said
You could
anything.
just, combo those two
Cut
up or
this part
something.
out, Dave.
Yeah.
Delete it. Don't let people see it.
You've got Martial Citizenry. That one lets all your Guardian units reroll to hit rolls of 1.
I like that.
Yeah, that's like the Ulthway trait there for sure again.
Yeah, I can see that totally being in there.
Yeah, like the combination of those two seem...
Yeah, regular
legit.
Guardians, Black Guardians, Storm Guardians.
To me, honestly, the 3 that make the most sense, Children of Prophecy, Diviners of Fate, and Martial Citizenry, that all fits Ulthway to a T, because they're super involved with their Farseers. They like know what's going to happen before they get there, and they have the Black Guardians.
Yeah, I think I can see that very easily. So,
and that's not OP, I don't think. Anyway, you've got.
No, I don't think it is. Actually,
I think
don't
it's
think
fair.
it is. Just because it's just a hit roll of a 1 for a Guardian, and
Yeah.
I mean they die pretty easily. So.
Oh, they die real easy.
So.
All right, so you've got Masterful Shots. When resolving an attack made by a model with this attribute, you get no cover. I think that's a great ability.
I do too.
Yeah, that's really solid.
Because I can no longer get cover with my repulsors, so I don't,
Why can't you get cover with your repulsors? Dave?
because I can't get on top of buildings anymore. Do. Thanks, Reese. Anyway, no, I like it. I like anything that eliminates cover like that. I feel like is kind of a.
It's pretty powerful.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good for the game to balance it out a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Masters of Concealment is the next one. This is the reworked Alatok trait. We'll see where this goes. I really hope that this happens because Eldar that are -3 or like -4 to hit are really awful for the game. I think that's bad for people. It
Yeah,
doesn't
too
feel
many
good.
minuses. -1 is okay.
Yeah.
I get it. You're moving super fast, but when you start stacking those up and it's just impossible to hit,
It's just
the only way to kill them is with flamers, which is just bad.
yeah, like
But-
flamers shouldn't be
so
the best
this is
anti-flyer
the
weapon,
resolving
right?
an attack with a ranged weapon against a unit with an attribute. The model is more than 12 inches away. Is now
Oh, yeah.
treated as having cover.
Sorry, I didn't actually say what it was.
Yeah, he didn't say what it was. So you get cover now instead. Which
It's basically the Raven Guard or Masters of Stealth ability from the Space
yeah,
Marine book.
and you know what? I like it.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I like it better than -1. So
I think it's more fun for everybody.
yeah, I agree.
All right, Mobile Fighters. I like this. This one's really cool
I downloaded
too.
this app game just recently. Actually, it's really good.
Oh, yeah?
you should try it.
What level are you?
Mobile, 2.
Yeah, okay.
I told you it was recently.
Yeah, it was 2 minutes ago.
Just a second.
yeah.
Hold on. Making my name. Dave is awesome.
Well, you're just starting off with a lie, huh? All right. So, Mobile Fighters is whenever you resolve an attack by a model with this attribute in a turn in which that model's unit has disembarked from a transport, reroll to hit rolls of 1. Really not bad. I mean, like
No, I like
jumping
it.
out of a transport, rerolling ones to hit without any kind of other. Like you don't have to put anything into that; it just happens, which is nice.
Yeah, and then you know what? If you've got a bunch of wave serpents and you're just disgorging dudes, it works great. I think this is I'm hoping, though I haven't made it this far in the book yet, that it's under the Drukhari in some fashion because I feel like it really benefits them.
Oh, that might be too much. Actually, I don't even know. That would be really powerful with them
Well,
because they hit on 2s a lot of time. Anyway,
ooh, sounds good.
so this is cool in that it works in shooting and combat.
Yes.
So if you jump out in assault, you still get to reroll ones to hit, which is nice. Now, Savage Blades is just whenever you charge, or were charged, or performed a heroic intervention, you get to reroll hit rolls of 1.
Yeah.
Again, super solid.
Yeah, it's solid.
And so Strike and Fade is the big one, right? This takes up both your slots. But this is such a powerful ability. If you select this Craftworld attribute, you cannot select a second. Units with this attribute can charge during a turn in which they fell back. And when a model so that part is very good.
Yeah,
It's very
very good.
Very, very good. But the second part is very strange because I can only think of a couple situations where it's going to come into play. Okay, so what it is if you're not within 3 inches of enemy models and you make a consolidation move, you don't have to move towards the nearest enemy model. So the cool thing that you can do with this is you can if you have a big unit, you can spread them out and touch a bunch of things instead of like what.
I'm sorry, you just said if you have a big unit, you could spread them out and touch a bunch of things. I went there, my mind went there, and I'm sorry, it made me laugh. I know exactly what you're saying, however, I'm a 13-year-old junior high boy at heart.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I get it, and so you're spread out, and you end up slaughtering stuff, and they pull the models close so they can get out of combat with you or whatever.
Or they try and they move a model in such a way to like block you from being able to consolidate into their other models, and as long as that model isn't within 3 of you, you can still probably get into those enemy models.
Yeah.
So that allows you to do some cool like stringing out of your unit to get into auras or to get into other enemy units to make it a little bit easier for you to.
So how about this? And just pulling something up maybe off the top of my head. So you're in combat with Johnny Smash Captain.
Yep. Oh, I
we'll
hate
just
that
say.
guy.
And then a unit of aggressors.
Okay.
He knows he's going first, right?
Yep.
So he hits you with Smash Captain, and he kills a couple guys.
Okay.
But the aggressors are gonna mop you up. You've moved away from 3 inches away at this point. He hasn't activated him yet. Maybe, I don't know, something along those lines. You pull away guys away from the aggressors to the point where you are now 3 inches away from them. Mm-hmm. You can move away from them so they can't activate.
Sure. Yeah. Right. If they, so there is some play there as well. So like if you're within 4 inches and you just don't want to have to fight them or whatever because they charged, you can do some stuff like that, which is cool.
Yeah. So,
so no, there definitely is some play, or you can prevent them from fighting again, potentially, and getting into combat killing your guys, killing a different unit.
Yeah. So I mean,
but
it's
okay. But so in order to consolidate, you also have to be within an inch of an enemy unit and or have charged. So I think it's more useful on the charging.
Okay.
Anyway,
well. Thanks for staying tuned in. This was the part of the review where Danny and I discussed something that we really have no idea how it works, and still come away completely blanked. So, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. Students Evolve. This allows you each of your vehicles heals a wound every single turn. Not bad. A little bit of living metal like Necrons.
Yeah. Kind of unique for Eldar, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's not. That's not bad.
No.
Then you've got Superior Shurikens.
I like this one.
Add 4 inches to the range characteristic of Shuriken weapons that this models with this attribute are equipped with. I think it's really good on bikes with Shuriken cannons.
Dude, it's really good on Dyers.
Yeah, it makes them into 22 inches, which is a nice range for them.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that Shurikens suffer from is short range.
Sure.
So, the more range you can get on those, the better.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. You've got Vengeful Blades. And this one's specifically against Chaos units. Whenever you make a charged, war charge, or perform a heroic intervention, you get to re-roll to hit rolls against them.
Listen, can I get on my soapbox for a second? How come everything has to have, these days, against Chaos units?
I don't know. Everybody hates Chaos. Eldar hate Chaos. I think it's supposed to be fluffy.
I feel like the fluffy in that one would be Slanesh.
Well, they already get to reroll to hit rolls against Slanesh units all the time.
Well, then it should be just better if you choose that one. Like, increase it by X or whatever.
These guys just hate all Chaos.
It's in every book at this point. It's like some poor writer sitting there slipping these in every book.
Robin Credence is sitting there. He's like, those Chaos motherfuckers.
We're going to put this, and he's just got a slip of paper, and he just hands it off. He looks over each one, and he goes, excellent, excellent, excellent.
Here you go.
You forgot something. Put this in. Dang it.
Fuck you, Chaos.
Even Chaos has against Chaos.
He's lost so many times to his one friend's Chaos army that he just hates them with an unrivaled passion. So now he makes sure that all of his rules can handle him. Yeah.
Whatever army he's playing gets to re-roll against Chaos.
Yeah. All right, then you've got Warding Runes, which give you a 5-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds.
So Black Templar.
Yep, they get the Black Templar thing, which is, it's fine. Webway Warriors is interesting. This lets you use Webway Strike more than once. So it lets you use it twice. You can potentially deep strike 4 units with it.
Once per battle for each detachment. So if you got 3 detachments...
Oh, sure. Okay, so you could use it like 4 times. That's a lot. I don't know.
And it can't be used with auxiliary support, but whatever.
So what you could use it for, I guess, is if you had all these detachments, you could spend 4 CP and deep strike 4 units instead of having to spend 6 CP to do that normally. So you can kind of mess around with it a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah, it's fluffy.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
It's fine. Wrath of the Dead, real good. Lets you re-roll to wound rolls of 1 with Wraith Constructs.
And I love Wraith Constructs.
Oh yeah, they're the best.
I like that a lot.
They're definitely the coolest part of that army to me.
So that's that. And now we move on to...
Craftworld. Now we'll move on to some cool Eldar.
Drew Carey.
Some Drew Careys.
All right.
Big, thick glasses and all. All right, so first of all, let's not...
I heard that they promoted Draenzer
to whose line is it anyway?
Oh, I was going to go with The Price is Right.
Yeah. What about Family Feud? All right, so
We just got
First of all,
sued.
we've got Drukhari name generator. Whoa! If you ever wanted to name your guy Crean,
Is it just Drano all the way down?
so you got Drazar, Incubi points have not changed. Demiclaves and the Clave are both free. In case you were wondering about that,
I like that.
nice.
Incubi are the same points cost, right?
Yeah, and they got a significant.
They
buff.
got way better in my opinion.
I think Drazar is actually pretty solid. He hits like a ton of bricks.
So we've had this discussion off screen between you and myself, where
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Drukhari came out way ahead over the Craftworld as far as what they're getting unit wise in this. Like, so in the box set that's coming out, I think that there is a place for Incubi and Drazar in an army.
Oh, for sure.
Like, whereas I don't know about.
And like his points are not bad, right? He's 120 points. And so like I don't know. I guess he's like 50 more points than an Archon though, to be fair, because an Archon's like 70 points.
Yeah, but does the Archon give the buff of +1 to wound or whatever it is? Because I don't have it.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. So anyway, so Drazar gives a +1 to wound for all Incubi units within 6 inches of him, and he is also Incubi.
Yeah, so it counts for him.
So he gets +1 to wound, which is really good. And then he's got Murderous Assault. So whenever he charges, he can fight twice, and that's great because he fights at charging speed. So if he charges, he gets to fight you, and then if they don't interrupt, you can just fight with him again, which is pretty badass.
Yeah.
And then he's got Lethal Precision. Whenever he makes an unmodified 6 to wound, you get to add 2 to the damage characteristic. And they did upgrade the Executioner's Demiclaves from him to be from 1 damage to 2 damage. So
he on 6s he's dishing out 4 damage.
Yep.
Yeah. Now it does say unmodified.
Yeah.
So the
+1
+1 to wound
doesn't help that.
stack it.
But it does help him wound more often, which is good. He's got a 2+ armor save and a 5+ invul, just like he had before. His stat line did change a little bit. He did get +1 wound. So he's 6 wounds instead of 5 wounds.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he's got the Tormentor Helm, which is the same. And then Master of Blades is the buff to all the Incubi. So he does either 6 attacks at Strength 4 -2, or he does 4 attacks at Strength 5 -3.
Yeah.
So just depending on whether or not you need that Strength 5 for the 3 up to wound or 2 up to wound or whatever. I mean, like...
And his model looks great.
His model is awesome looking. It's really is such a huge improvement over his previous model.
Yeah, and I think that, so it took me a little while. I couldn't figure out why he wasn't holding it by the handles, but I realize now after seeing the new Incubi models that
all the claves have handles in weird places, so they can like use them in however they want.
Well,
to
it's so you can
people.
it's so you can use it like a what is that, Star Trek batleth or something when when the bases are butted together instead of split apart.
Yeah, you can do that. Which I don't know. I think that looks dumb. But like the other Incubi, you see, they have like a handle here and a handle there and a handle at the end, so they can hold their things all crazy. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. You can see here's the Batleth version of the Demiclaves,
which is the only way I would ever field it.
So you can in the model kit. I did look at the sprue. It looks like you have the option to have them separate or have them together. Like so, for me, I'm always going to keep them separate because I think that looks cooler. But you can model it however you like, Dave. Even if it looks
thanks, Danny.
Even if it looks stupid.
All
right. So,
what was that last one?
Incubi is still great. 3 attacks apiece or 4 attacks on the Clavex, which is also still weapon skill 2. And then they have the Demiclaves. So those are again just like Drazar's, except they're only 1 damage instead of 2 damage,
which can go up to 3 damage.
Sure, and they 6s. Right, and they also have the lethal precision option as well. Which is pretty nice. And they have Tormentors. So the buff that they stayed the same, except they got Lethal Precision, which used to only be on the Clavex, where he got, on 6 to wound, he got, he had the ability to go to, damage 3 on his attacks. But like, now it's the whole unit. That's a lot of attacks to be throwing out. And then on turn 3, these guys all become weapon skill 2 up, which is amazing. That's a lot. That's really powerful. From Power from Pain.
Right, yeah. So, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're decent. And like, 80 points for a squad of 5 is really not that many points, and they're pretty durable compared to most other Dark Eldar units.
Definitely, in my opinion, you're going to want them in a Raider.
Yeah,
Like,
or
just jet across the board at
right, or
dump 'em out.
take 10 and put them in the webway.
Also good. Also a good option.
So you could deep strike them.
So then we've got the Obsessions, which are
Very similar to the other the Craftworld traits. So you've got.
So here's what here's what. Fred, stop trying to lick the camera.
Come on, buddy.
So I didn't get a chance to see it before I gave it to you. Can you mix and match?
Okay, so these are just for Cabals, and they only affect Cabalite units.
Okay.
And then they have ones for Witches and ones for Covens.
So, but you could take. Can you have two like you can to, if you're creating your own. So, like you're creating your own Craftworld, you get two. Can you only select one in this? So, if you're creating your own Cabal, you can only have one, or can you have two? I don't remember. You stole the book from me before I got this far.
Sorry, so your chosen Cabal can have 2 of the Cabal ones, or 2 of the Coven ones, or 2 of the Witch ones.
So that makes I like that a little bit better than the Craftworld attributes actually in that regard then, because some of them stack a little bit better.
Well, I mean, yeah, it just depends on how you want to take them. I mean, you could make 3 different Craftworld attachments with different.
Well, yeah, but you could do the
traits
same
if you
thing
want
with different witch occults and
Sure,
cabals and
sure,
stuff like that
sure,
too.
absolutely. Let's see here. So these we'll just go through these pretty quickly. Dark Mirth, because there's just as many of these as they're all combined with all the Craftworld stuff as well.
Yeah. So you got Dark Mirth, which is
so that's -1 leadership to enemies within 6, and the first time you kill an enemy, or first time an enemy fails a morale test, the rest of your army gets +1 leadership.
yeah, not bad.
And then units with this obsession, Deadly Deceivers, they can charge when they fall back. And when an enemy unit finishes a charge within 1 inch of them, you roll 1d6, and on a 6, they take a mortal wound.
So they get fly.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, without actually
kind
being
of.
able to fly over enemy models.
Right.
And it's not fly; it's they can fall
yeah.
back and still assault.
Right.
The problem is that Cabalite units are generally not particularly good in assault, so that's probably not a huge deal. But it does allow you to fall back your raiders and still charge other stuff or venoms, which is nice. This actually is pretty cool. Okay, so think about this too. You can charge somebody with a venom, tie them up in their turn. On your turn, you fly out, shoot them with the venom because you can still shoot because it has fly.
Right.
Charge it back in there to tie them up again.
Just ram it home.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, so then you've got Disdain for Lesser Beings. When a morale test is taken for a unit with this obsession, no more than 1 model can run away. Okay.
That's all right.
Then you've got Meticulous Flayers. This one, units with this obsession have the power from preying ability always count as having Eager to Flay. Eager to Flay is, I believe, is the +1 to hit in combat, but I'd have to double check that. And then, let's see, whenever they attack with a melee weapon against a unit that isn't a vehicle or Titanic, on a 6 to hit, they auto wound.
So if you
Which
have a
is
6, and
not
GW
bad.
recently did just FAQ that 6s carry over any other benefits. So if
No,
you're,
they don't. They changed that FAQ in their most recent one. That doesn't exist
I
anymore.
thought that was so if it successfully wins, it does 2 damage. It would automatically do the 2 bonuses. So I'm saying if you had, for example, the Incubi. I don't know if
Incubi can't benefit
right,
from any
but
obsessions.
I'm just saying, if you had an ability on a 6 that did 2 extra wounds like that, then it would carry over.
No, it would not.
Well, that's dumb. They
Yeah.
should FAQ that very quickly.
Hold on a second. I'm just double checking this here. I want to make sure I'm right about Power from Pain. Oh, I'm sorry. Eager to Flay is reroll charge rolls. So that makes sense. They want to get into combat.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was that one or the other one. Still, not bad. Not bad. And this might be a useful thing with Deadly Deceivers. I don't know. Those two things could key up pretty well. I could see that. Mobile Raiders is great. +3 to the move characteristics of model that can fly.
Yeah.
So just +3 inches to all your transports and flyers and that kind
like
of
it.
stuff. Pretty nice. Soulbound. When an Inured to Suffering roll is made for a model with this obsession, re-roll roll of 1. So this is the 6-up Feel No Pain that Old Dark Eldar have. Units with this obsession do not have Power from Pain. Instead, get Inured to Suffering. So that's pretty cool. That means that units that don't normally get a 6-up Field of Pain get a 6-up Field of Pain, like vehicles and that kind of stuff.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Toxin Crafter.
Toxin Crafter is really great. Whenever you roll a 6 to wound with a poison weapon, it counts as damage 2, right? Yep. Add 1 to the damage characteristic.
Yep.
Real good. That's very good. That means on 6s your Venoms are doing 2 damage with 12 shots or 18 shots or whatever else you have.
Yeah, it doesn't stack with Artifacts of Cruelty, however, but...
Yep, that's fine.
You know, it's still good.
Still very good. And then Webway Raiders is the same as the Craftworld Aeldari ones, where they can take Webway Assault a bunch of times. All right, Witch Cult obsessions. You've got first one is Acrobatic Display, which they did preview. So this one takes up both of your Witch Cult obsessions, but you get a +1 to your invulnerable save.
Yeah, I think this one's really good.
It's very powerful. Having a 3-up invulnerable save in combat with all your normal witches is really, really good. And it gives all of your vehicles a 6, at least, or all the units that don't get an invul save, they get a 6-up invul save when they're in combat, which is nice.
That's worth not getting to combo with anything else. Sorry, people that wanted to combo with it.
Then you have the Art of Pain. Let's see here. So whilst units with this obsession have the Power from Pain ability and are within 1 inch of enemy units, they treat the current battle round as being 1 higher than it actually is. So not bad. So on turn 2 you can get the +1 to hit. That's not bad. You've got Berserk Fugue. When resolving an attack made by a melee weapon with this, when you've charged, when you charged, were charged, or heroically intervened, first round of combat, let's just say that.
Okay.
An unmodified roll of hit of 6 scores 1 additional hit. That's really good. That's
it is.
That's really good too, especially with the amount of attacks that a Witch Cult unit can throw out.
They've got a lot.
Pretty nasty. Precise Killers, and you can't combo this with Precise Killers. Berserk Fugue. Whenever you roll a 6 to wound, you get -1 AP. Also not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. Slash and Impact. I think this one is not bad. Like, you can do some good damage with this. After a model with this obsession finishes a charge move, select 1 enemy infantry, biker, or monster unit within 1 inch and roll a d6. On a 5-up, they take a mortal wound. And that's per model. So if you have a 20-man Witch Squad and you charge them and you get them all within 1 inch, you roll 20 d6, and on 5s they do mortals. So that's like 6 or 7 mortal wounds.
That's some math hammers off the top of your head right there really fast. That's very nice. That's mortals. I hate mortals so much.
On average, it's 6.67 because...
Thanks, Danny.
You're welcome.
I think that anytime you can get mortals
for free,
it's good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And so Stimulant Innovators, when the Hyperstim Backlash focus stratagem is used on a unit with this obsession, it only costs 1 command point instead of 2. That's pretty good. That lets you double the benefit of your combat drugs for a unit.
Yeah.
Which is real nice. Test of Skill, I think, is probably one of the most powerful ones in all of the obsessions that there is in here. And so that's whenever you target a model with an attack that's a monster or a vehicle that has a wounds characteristic of 10 or more, add +1 to the wound roll. So this is shooting, this is combat, this is everything. So getting +1 to wound again with like your flyers, because you can do that with flyers, or +1 to wound with your poison weapons. So they're wounded on 5s now against tanks. Pretty powerful. And you can get a lot of shots like the Disintegrators on Razorwing Jet Fighter. Getting +1 to wound against a tank is pretty good, or
a knight.
Dark Lances, or sure.
Oh no, wait, no.
You would get it against, it's a vehicle. Yeah, you're good. So this one I think is a gimme if you're going to build a lot of shooting units in your list.
Yeah.
And then picking one of the other ones is good, or you take Acrobatic Display. Oh, sorry, there's one more. Trophy Takers. Whenever your opponent,
but it's terrible. Just continue with what you're saying.
Whenever an opponent takes a morale test for a unit in which models are destroyed as a result of attack made by melee weapons by a model with this obsession this turn, they must roll 2d6 and discard the lowest result. If both results are the same, discard either of them. So, still, my comment still stands.
All right.
Yep, I'm still going to go with it. Now, the Covens, I think, get the most out of these. Covens have, several really powerful ones. And you can either build a very shooty Covens list. You can build a very even like I don't know if they're more resilient than Prophets of Flesh with the +1 invul save, but anyway. So you've got first Artists of the Flesh. You can't select a second if you select this one. You're -1 damage on everything.
Yeah.
So you get an Ironstone on all of your vehicles.
And yeah,
Very powerful. On your Talos.
I'm sure it's going to get FAQ'd to just be something that you can pop once per battle, because that would be the only way to make it fair,
man.
in my opinion.
I don't know. I could see that one sticking around. It's not on a toughness 8 thing though. Like it's on max toughness like 7 or something.
No,
like,
only max toughness 7.
It's not that bad.
I mean, it doesn't even matter if you got a 2 damage weapon, say like an autocannon or something. You're shooting at them. It's a 1 damage weapon regardless.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, and it pairs nicely with a nice Chianti. So that's good.
So, but again, that takes both of your slots.
Yeah,
which is fair.
and it's good. It's
real
really
good.
good.
It's real good. Dark Harvest. Whenever a unit with this special finishes a charge move after.
This is another mortal wounds on 5. So, which I still agree is good. Dark Harvest.
Yep, and this is Dark Harvest is almost exactly the same as Slashing Impact, except it doesn't have a stipulation of infantry, biker, or monster. It's anything.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Again, better.
Now, Dark Technomancers is one of the really powerful shooting options that these guys have, and this is kind of similar to the Infernal Knights from the Chaos Knights Codex, where you pick your shooting weapons and you can enhance them. So when you do that, they get +1 to wound and +1 damage.
So when you fire Overwatch or regularly chosen to shoot with,
Yep,
you can choose to enhance.
Yep.
That's pretty
good. And then
good.
anytime you roll a 1 to wound, you take with any 1s to wound, you take 1 mortal wound.
Oh, so
not for each one.
Right. Oh, this is the one that stuck out to me as absolutely amazing for the fact that you plasma them.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
You overcharge everything becomes overcharged plasma.
It's better than that, though. I think
it is, but that's the best way to describe it.
Sure.
It's overcharged plasma. So you get to add 1 to the wound roll. You get to add 1 more to the damage, and on a 1 you die. So.
Yep. Now, one thing this does do, if you have like Haywire Blasters, for instance, on your Talos, and you use this, you get +1 to wound, which changes the Haywire table from 3 and 4 are 1 mortal wound, and 5s and 6s are D3 mortals. So it becomes totally gross with those, and
plus
any
1 more
successful
damage.
wounds are also an extra damage.
Yeah.
So really solid, and you can even do this on Venoms with their splinter cannons. So their splinter cannons do +1 damage. And
Hooray!
Yep. Anyway, so very, very powerful for shooting.
Yeah, you're right. I, in my opinion, that so far from what we've seen, you come out way ahead with the Covens. You know. Building your own, just go Covens and call it a day. You know.
They're solid. Experimental creations add 1 to the strength characteristic of all models with this obsession. In addition, whenever they make an attack with a poisoned weapon against a unit that has a lower toughness characteristic, add 1 to the wound roll. So this is really powerful with Venoms. Now Venoms are toughness 5, right?
Right.
So if they're shooting with their poison weapons, they're going to get +1 to wound. If you enhance the poison weapons, they get another +1 to wound. So now they're wounding most infantry units on 2s.
That sounds.
And your guys all get +1 strength.
I think that sounds. I'm going to say neat, but I don't think that's the word I want to use.
The other thing you can do with your Venoms as well, and I'm pretty sure this works, is you can take a Homunculus and stick him next to your Venoms. And your Homunculus gives +1 toughness to Coven units within so many inches, I think 6 inches. So he gives them all a bonus to toughness, which means that now they're toughness 6, so they wound toughness 5 models on a 2. And this will... So, like, it's not going to wound vehicles on a ton better, right? Unless the vehicles are toughness 5.
I'm going to say right now, I, for one, am looking forward to working with our new homunculus cult overlords and hope they have a long and prosperous Venom reign. Because, God, it's
pretty good, right?
How much are... Get your Venoms now, guys, because they're going to sell out very quickly on the GW store.
Yeah, I think they're like 65 points or something like that. So, and they're like $30, so you can buy a lot of Venoms. Hey, you get one in the new box. Sweet. Yeah. All right. So next one we got Hungry for Flesh. You get +1 to charge pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean,
Anytime you
like-
get an extra inches, you know.
Yeah, to take those extra inches.
Yeah, you got to
man.
take them. It's an option.
And then Master of Mutagens, whenever you roll a 6 to hit with, it's a hit roll of 6 with a poison weapon, unless it's against a vehicle or Titanic unit, a 6 automatically wounds.
Yeah.
So again, great with shooting, or combat, honestly, because combat, like all the Coven units, well, most of the Coven units have a poison weapon. At least all the racks do and that kind of stuff, so that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then Master Torturers, whenever you use the Torturer's Craft stratagem, it can only cost 1 instead of 2. I believe Torturer's Craft is the reroll failed to wound roll stratagem. So you get to pick one of your units and have the ability to reroll failed to wound rolls.
For less, that's
which
pretty
is
good.
really great.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Speaking of racks, Obsessive Collectors.
I really like this one.
I really like this one.
It's really fun.
I like it with racks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's just so good. So when an enemy model is destroyed as a result of an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in this unit from your army with this obsession, you can select one model in that unit to gain D3 lost wounds. If the attacking model is a rack, you can instead return up to D3 destroyed models to that unit.
Yeah. Take a bunch of big fat rack units.
You've stopped me. Okay, hold on. I love a big fat rack. Not with a unit.
Man, I like a whole unit of racks. I don't know about you.
I just
like 10 of them.
The
All
idea
up in my
of
face.
plague. What is
Poxwalkers?
Poxwalkers? Thank you.
Yeah.
The idea of rack poxwalkers is just super intriguing.
It's
to
pretty
me.
cool.
Because it means basically like, hey, you're gonna have to kill this unit if you know, otherwise they're coming back.
That's true.
Sure, it's only D3, but anything that keeps you on the board longer.
And keep stuff tied up. And
Yeah.
racks are already pretty tough in general, so
Yeah.
especially if they're close by a homunculus for toughness 5. Solid.
So good. I want to play around with this. I might play around with this and put
Yeah.
together like a small one detachment just to dink with and see,
Like a Coven's army or something?
Yeah, just something silly for funsies.
Cool. That sounds rad.
You know.
So the next section I'm going to go over is Ynnari. Now, to be fair, I didn't go over to double check to make sure that...
Full disclaimer, we did not even look at this section because they said specifically it is exactly like the White Dwarf.
Right.
Which we think is not right. There have been scuttlebutt rumors that it's
I think
not
some of the
same.
strats changed CP values.
But we can't verify it. So
Yeah, and I don't have that White Dwarf handy because I put it in the deepest depths of my room.
I really dig this picture right here, though.
Oh yeah, it's a great picture.
I think it would look better, I don't know, with somebody else's face.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I think I fit that suit pretty well.
You've got the racks
Really
for
fill
it.
it out.
But yeah, so for the most part right now, just assume that Ynnari is pretty much the same as you've seen in the White Dwarf with no major changes. We'll scroll
for
through
sure.
it really fast.
But like, but definitely double check it out and make sure that it's good. I did notice that all of their characters are movement 8. That's pretty cool. That's faster than most other units are.
Well, they're trying to outrun death, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they gotta be speedy for that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think they gave Yvain the extra movement speed because she recently viewed her own death in a dream. So
brutal.
But they had all of these stratagems in the White Dwarf.
Yeah, I think some of these are really great though. Like I think some of the units like that got buffs, like Banshees and Incubi, make really great Ynnari units.
They combo really, really well.
And the Banshee unit also has special heads for if you want to take them as Ynnari, you can give them bear heads, which look pretty cool. That's so they can get headshot easier. So they can
bear
go meet. Bear heads?
I am stupid.
Wow.
I am so stupid.
Christ, Dave. Like an actual bear head? That's what you thought?
I was like, oh, a bear head comes in the kit?
For real?
How badass is that?
I want a bear Banshee.
Now I have to model this. Now I have to buy this box set to model just that one. Ugh.
So, yeah, really cool. Still, like, I checked out the Warlord traits and the Psychic powers, and those all look pretty much the same to me, so I didn't I didn't do a ton of research into that. So yeah, but by all means, like take a look and prove us wrong. Let us know in the comment section if we don't know what the hell we're talking about Ynnari.
Because Ynnari is dead. And hopefully this book will give them a little bit of life. And I'm not saying that to be mean, like, thank God Ynnari is dead. Ding dong, Ynnari's dead.
I'm not
gonna get my
super
monkeys.
sad about that.
But, they went from played a lot to no longer existing. And I feel bad for people that were playing them because they got a nerf bat pretty hard.
I feel no sympathy, but that's because I don't really like Ynnari very much.
You just wait until Iron Hands get hits with the Nerf bat and everybody's saying the same thing to you when you're walking naked through the halls towards the Red Keep.
Shame!
Shame at you.
Shame! That's okay. That happened to me at the last tournament.
Did you not play Iron Hands?
That's okay. I'll take any kind of debuffs to that army with right in stride.
Yeah.
So that's a review of Phoenix Rising.
The first book is Psychic Awakening. Amazing.
Yeah.
Pick it up if for nothing else other than the lore.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it, like devour it. It's really good.
It's pretty solid.
I can't wait until our next podcast when we get to go into the lore.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. And I like what they've done here. Like I said, it's given me the idea that I might want to try tinkering around with Drukhari, and just kind of playing with it and having a good time.
For sure.
Plus, those new Incubi models are good looking.
Oh, they are sexy. I can't wait for them to be released separately.
So.
All right, well, I've been Danny.
And I've been Dave.
And thanks for tuning in. If you did enjoy our video, like, share, subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Yeah. Write us a comment. Tell us how you feel. Tell us we suck. We're fine with that.
When you're sitting there getting your nails did with your buddies.
That's right.
And
as you do.
There, just tell them, hey, did you guys hear about Dave and Danny's review of this Phoenix Rising book?
Fucking terrible.
Totally good. Obviously, anybody going to a GT is going to get their nails done first because they could appear on stream and you don't want to look like a hobo.
I didn't even think about that. I better get my nails done.
I made you an appointment already.
Oh, thanks. Are we going together?
No.
Oh. Well, yeah.
I'm not going to a GT.
When they aerosolize my nails, like, it's bad for everybody. And they got to wear a respirator. It's not good. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you next time, right, Fred?
Yep.